little trouble as of late, but he's the guy that can hit the ball a long way when he gets a hold of it. From the left side here, Gross with the pitch. Just missed on the outside corner. 1-0 to the Arkadelphia center fielder. Got to meet some of Tripp's family the other night from Delight, Arkansas, the home of Glenn Campbell, obviously, is Tripp Campbell, some relation there. One of those uncles looks just like Glenn Campbell, if you didn't get that. So
that's why Tripp has Rhinestone Cowboys.
Rhinestone Cowboys is walkout song. There you go.
And if he does get hold of one, he's going to get extra bases because it's with the outfield playing in. You know, you mentioned it. Tripp's got good power to the alleys. If he can just kind of get off the schneid a little bit and get in a good rhythm.
Well, he's behind in the count now. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Very efficient is Gross from the mound so far. Not throwing a lot of pitches. And he takes strike 3 on the outside. So 3 up, 3 down for Arkadelphia in the top of the first.
No runs, no hits, no errors.
Nobody reaches. Nobody left on. Arkadelphia will. We'll see young Carter Babb on the mound for the first start of the season. Carter is a sophomore. He's got pitching experience. Hadn't seen a whole lot of Carter on the mound this year. He's been a regular in right field. Even got a couple of starts in left. He's been a regular, but just not on the mound. So we'll see if the young lefty can come in and do a little work on a cold, windy afternoon here in Central Arkansas.
Yeah, not gonna overpower anybody. Going to try to locate, pitch the contact. We mentioned that at the Queen. You try to pitch the contact, not overthrow. You got to throw strikes. Let your defense work. Second appearance for Carter. He was able to get a couple innings in against Lakeside, I believe, in the first week of the season. But first ever start for Carter in the high school level anyway, and so he'll get a chance against a quality lineup that has a couple of college signees, and I believe the catcher is one that's also possibly committed to a Division I prospect as well. So good power in the Little Rock Christian lineup. Not a bad lineup to try to get your first start against.
Well, they are a good-looking group of athletes over there. They're ready to go, and Carter taking his warm-up pitches. He's just about ready to go. Looking at the stats, Carter's got 4 strikeouts on the year. He did get 4 strikeouts in that other appearance. So the off speed a lot of times at this level, Chris, is just what the doctor ordered for a defense. It not only kind of gets those hitters that may have been seeing those number 1 guys come up and down with those hard fastballs, but being a lefty off speed, it may be something that we can take advantage of. Arkadelphia still has some pitching left, but with a long week of 4 games, we're gonna need all that we can get out of Carter today.
Yeah, you're gonna need to give a few innings. You just don't want to get into where you can't find the zone and walk people.
Yeah,
it's one thing if you throw it up there and they're hitting the ball where your defense isn't, but you don't want to give free bases.
Here's the first pitch from Carter, and it's in the dirt, a little bit low, blocked up by catcher Bell. You know, I was talking to one of our Arkadelphia parents the other day, and he made a good point that, you know, a lot of Arkadelphia's offense is station to station. We don't have a lot of power and don't have a lot of speed, so you have to string base hits together. One of the things that our pitchers have kind of had some good and not so good work with is holding runners on and keeping that team, our opposing team, to become a station to station and not letting a single turn into a run.
Yeah, too many
with another base hit.
Too many stolen bases for the opponents this year.
Carter puts one in place right to the shortstop, who gloves it snow cone style there at shortstop. That's Donovan Witten. Good play as he ranges just to his left and catches it right above his shoe tops with a little bit sticking out the top of that glove there. But it is an out, and we'll take it. 1 down now. That brings up the center fielder, Isaac Nowell. I think I pronounced it Noel. The public address announcer says it's Nowell, so I bet he would know. That is a hit by a pitch. A low pitch gets inside a little bit on Babb, and there's the first base runner of the afternoon. And Charlie Carter now
Yeah,
stepping
Need
in.
to
Carter.
apologize to Coach Howard for Carter hitting now there. Coach Howard down at Ouachita now is a Ouachita signee, and he'll be in Arkadelphia the next few years.
Yeah, and your son hit him right off the
Yeah,
bat.
and my son almost just got hit.
And he almost got hit in the back by my son from the catching position. I don't know if that one got away from him. So
It's a little cold out there, Dad.
we don't see the trucks yet, and the circus is not in town completely yet, but that might have been the first act. Hopefully we get that out of the way as now goes down to second base. It is ball one. Here's the pitch from Babb. And it is cold out there. That's the kind of day you can see their shirts blowing in that wind, and that cold northwest wind makes it a little chilly, especially when it's been 70 the last few days.
When talking to him last night, we were talking about the wind and how windy it was going to be. He said, I just hope the wind's blowing in and not out.
Well, that is a good recommendation. I would agree to that because
Unfortunately for him, it's not blowing in.
it's not blowing in. It's blowing straight out, and it's blowing straight out to left field where a right-handed hitter would pull, and hopefully we can keep that from happening. 3 balls and no strike. Babb trying to get a feel for the zone here. Early on, there's no score. A runner on for Christian, and he's going to third, and it's ball 4. Ball gets away from Bell off to his right just a little bit.
The first baseman, number 14, Connor Whipple.
And so now runners on the corner, still 1 out. No score. Whipple the batter. He's the cleanup hitter. He's playing first base today. Pretty good size athlete, probably about 5'10", 11.
I believe he was the center on the Little Rock Christian team. He is signed to play football at Ouachita. Don't know how I know that, but it's like I work there or something.
We should have been down there telling these guys to take it easy on us. They may need a spot at the Sonic next year when they're in school. And
You can't do that, Blake. You can. You didn't go to school.
is that a recruiting violation if it happens from someone on the staff? Well, I can do it because I'm
You'll get me in trouble.
I'm bipartisan. I was not a Henderson or a Ouachita grad, so I get to do whatever I want. So
There you go.
33, Williams Wright.
2 balls and no strikes now as the runner moves up to second base without a throw. So now 2 runners in scoring position, 1 out, and 2-0 to the batter. Here's the pitch. Looks good, and it is. Ringing up for strike 1. Whipple adjusts the hat. Whipple is one of those, you can tell he's one of those tough football guys. He doesn't have sleeves on or anything. He's out there. He'd probably take his shirt off if they'd let him, but he fouls that one off to the right side. So now it's 2 balls, 2 strikes to the Warriors first baseman. Babb needing a good pitch here. And he drives one to short center field. Measuring it up is there's a strong throw in. It's not going to be in time, but a good throw out there by the center fielder, Trip Campbell.
Well, you could tell, Tripp's not very deep. Tripp's got a really good arm, and that ball got in that wind and just died. You're going to be able to score on a almost a shallow to anything past a shallow fly ball. Most likely, you're going to be able to score. You're throwing that ball directly into, I believe, it's a 15, 18-mile-an-hour wind.
He threw a seed the other night in a ball game that from a lot deeper than that didn't even – it one hopped and it was on a line, and that one not only was pushed off to the right by the wind, but it was knocked down as well. So your runner is still at second base. That's Carter. Now he's going, and Babb's got him picked off, and indeed he does. He comes off the back of the rubber, spins, and makes the throw over to the third baseman for the third out. 1 run across for Little Rock Christian as the Badgers gave up an early hit by a batsman. That hitter, that turned around to be the only run of the inning. Good play out there by Trip Campbell to keep the runner at second base, and he's caught stealing going to third on a great play by Carter Babb. And we talked about that earlier about the pitchers being more aware of those base runners, holding them close, and that's exactly what we got out of young Carter.
Yeah, the second base runner, they've seen the scouting report. You've seen that there's a lot of bases have been stolen this year. They were going probably supposed to go on when he went to the plate. Went a little bit early. Carter was able to step off the back and make a good throw over to Goodrum for the tag. So good sign early.
I have to believe that's probably been a point of emphasis this week, at least the little bit of time, that practice time that they did have yesterday, and maybe on a bus ride home or in the dugout between games, is getting those pitchers to be more aware of those runners and shorten up that stroke going to home with runners on. You know, Carter being a left-handed pitcher, that's a benefit too, at least at runners at first base. That's one thing that we've not seen. We've not seen our left-handed pitchers doing a lot of checking runners at first base, and that's really something that we can get better at, I think. Our leadoff hitter now is stepping into the box for the Badgers. Tucker Johnson, hitting right at 500. He started out the year on fire, batting over 800 in his first 3 games. He's settled down a little bit, but still the best on the team by far. Here's the 0-1, sails high and outside on Gross. Tucker, good at running counts deep. Good contact hitter, not going to hit for a lot of power. He is going to make pitchers earn it, though. Fouled off to the right for the first strike. 1-1 to Tucker. Early on, Little Rock Christian 1, Arkadelphia nothing here from West Little Rock. Top of the second. First batter of the inning is Tucker Johnson. Tucker swings through. High fastball. And looked like the wind may have even got that pitch a little bit, as it kind of tailed a little more than what you would expect. And that wind is whistling. Let me tell you, it's coming in pretty stiff right now. There's a poke out in the right field, and it's going to just hold up enough for the right fielder, who was playing short, as you said. That's not a normal depth, really. I guess it might be for a right-handed hitter, but he's in a perfect spot, makes about a step forward and makes the play.
Yeah, good contact, just got it up too much.
Yeah. Tucker's going to take what you give him, and that's what the pitcher gave him, was that little poke to right field. The right fielder was just playing it perfectly. Preston Demaro now, his second batter of the inning. He steps in. He's playing left field today. And they taken first strike. Preston hits one soft grounder to shortstop. The shortstop ranges to his left a couple of steps, comes up and makes the play for the second out of the inning, getting the speedy Demaro. Demaro hitting 364, so he's actually got a pretty good average going on and almost beat that one out. Bell now coming in. Bell's batting 250. He's gotten a little bit hotter, a couple of base hits in the last 2 games to get himself back in a respectable average. He steps in here with 2 down in the top of the second. Gross from the short windup. There's a high pitch to Bell. He lays off for ball 1.
Had our fancy score ticker with the balls and the strikes and the outs and the bases, and paid a license for it. And a while ago, I went up after the first out and it said, "You're still playing on the license, the trial license." So if you saw that at home, sorry about that. We'll try to have that fixed for the next few broadcasts. We'll go back to our old score ticker.
If there's anything I love, it's trials, passwords, and PIN numbers. That's the light of my life, and so I know that that's probably not exactly what our viewers want, but we're trying to make this a valuable experience as we can have. And Jarrett Bell trying to get his money's worth at the plate. He fouls another one off. He's behind in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs, nobody on here in the top of the second. Badgers trailing 1-0 to Little Rock Christian. Nate Gross from the stretch, and there's a pitch that just missed low. Everybody in the place took a breath there to see what the call was going to be, and nobody made a move, so we'll go at it again. 2 balls and 2 strikes, 2 outs to the number 2 position, the catcher for Arkadelphia. And there's a swinging slow dribbler that gets fouled down the left field or down the third base line. Bell, a pull hitter, typically. And so getting out in front of that one. We'll see if he can straighten one out here and get the Badgers on base. Drew Rogers waits in the circle if he were to reach on deck. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Swung right back up the box, and it is going to get through for a base hit. So Bell is first base runner of the day for Arkadelphia.
Good two-strike approach by JB on that one. Put it, that left-handed pitcher is going to fall off the mound, and Jarrett went right back up the middle and have a courtesy runner for Bell. Figure it'll probably be KD Young, the atypical courtesy runner, but we'll see who comes out. Now it looks like it's going to be Zane Hill. Zane Hill will courtesy run for Jarrett Bell.
So catcher for catcher, our young catcher Zane Hill will take Jarrett's spot at first base, and so we'll see if we can move the runner up, put him into scoring position. And one of our only two seniors on the team, glad to see him back in the lineup, Drew Rogers steps in. Gross, the left-hander, looking straight at the runner, Hill at first.
Everybody who's playing anything right now is just glad to be playing sports, but there's, Drew's one that a senior, hadn't been able to play, I believe, since the 9th grade because of various injuries, several shoulder surgeries. So I know that he is just glad to be able to be out there. I know he'd like to be produced while he's out there, but it's just good that he's able to get out there and in the box.
Absolutely. And one of two seniors, we graduated 12 seniors last year. Then when they cut them off after 5 games, very discouraging to have that kind of a class and then not be able to have them enjoy and see what we can get out of them. These two seniors haven't seen an Arkadelphia field in 2 years, either of them. Preston transferred out and then back in from a neighboring school, and so both of these guys, even though they're seniors, they're still working out, knocking the rust off, if you will. But ball's fouled back, 1-2 count to Rogers, and he keeps it alive with a foul ball.
He did. Close. There's a breaking ball on the 0-2 count. The catcher did a nice job of framing it just off the plate. It must have been. It was a really close 0-2 pitch to take, but Drew did get the benefit and stays alive with that foul ball.
So Gross again comes set to the belt. There goes the runner. There's a swinging, I guess a miss. I guess the ball may have dropped in front of the catcher. He throws to first base harmlessly for the out, and so the Badgers waste a base hit, but they are able to reach as Jarrett Bell with a hit. He stays in the positive column, batting.
26 total pitches for Nate.
It was a tough, I guess they said he didn't check his swing on that one for Drew, so it was a tough one for Drew to nice block up by the catcher to strand the Badger base runner.
Yeah, it didn't look like he had a full swing, but kind of hard to tell. We're directly behind the plate, and so a lot of what happens out in front of the plate is kind of hard for us to see with the umpire there. Babb back out for his second inning of work, and he'll face Reese Torini, the DH, who will start off the inning for the Warriors. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of new growth and expansion out here in West Little Rock. I noticed that there's a new Tacos for Life. Speaking of Ouachita Baptist, the Ouachita Baptist alumni that have that very valuable and popular franchise here in Central Arkansas. There's one of those right down the road here, and some new, a lot of new retail, a lot of new housing. This is definitely the place that Little Rock is growing to here around the Chenal Valley area and Highway 10 area. A lot of new buildings going up, a lot of new growth here for the Warriors, as well as Joe T. Robinson down the road. Joe T. Robinson has about as many students as half of Little Rock schools, and they're still 4A, Chris. Isn't that kind of strange? And they continue to have good recruiting years. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Best facilities, best recruiting, and there's a hot shot at our snagging third baseman. That's Tate Goodrum.
We've talked about the Arkadelphia pitchers. Not a ton of velocity. You got to let them put it in play. I think the last 3 games, Tate at third base, against Bauxite, he had the inning-ending double plays with a line drive and a double up at third for 2 straight innings. That was the first and second inning. Almost had one in the third inning. and he's going to get some action there at third base.
He is. This is a lineup full of righties for Christian, and the next one up we'll see is their second baseman, Will Kaufman. He takes ball one. Babb working quickly, ready to get out of that cold wind. I don't blame him. He gets another one up high and takes it for ball two. Babb doesn't get in a hurry, but he is deliberate. And there's a pop-up on the infield. That ought to be an easy play. Coming over and ranging to his left in the middle of the diamond there is Whitten to make the second out of the inning, and Babb is doing exactly what he's supposed to do, and that is keep the Christian hitters off balance but still making contact. All right.
I'm just trying to figure out where he got his sleeves from. Someone was nice in the dugout and let him borrow some sleeves.
Okay. Well,
either that or said, normally you don't have to give it to him, but if he's pitching, let him wear the sleeves.
Yep. That's what freshmen are for. They give up their sleeves. They chase foul balls. Unless they play for Arkadelphia, they may be your bullpen.
Yeah, your bullpen.
Exactly. So, first pitch strike, second pitch ball taken by the Warrior second baseman. Count even now. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, no one on. Bottom of the second. Hanging on to a 1-run lead is Little Rock Christian. Ball high and outside to Kaufman. This is Ward, right fielder. Another righty on deck if he were to get on, and that's Cade Bowman, the third baseman. 3 balls and a strike now. Babb into his windup. Comes in with a pitch that is called ball 4. So down to first goes Ward.
Third baseman, number 25, Cade Bowman.
Bowman now, also from the right side, is the next batter with 2 down.
This has been the story all season. Arkadelphia struggled to get out of innings with 2 outs, but they've also struggled offensively when you have runners in scoring position with 2 outs. It's not a good not a good combination when you struggle to get out of the innings. As you see a pickoff move that goes into right field, and the runner is going to go to third. So now you get out of the first 2 batters, you get a pop out and a line drive, you give up a walk and a bad pickoff move, and now you have a runner in scoring position. And it's been the story for the last couple of weeks. Arkadelphia has found itself in situations where you have a chance to get out of an inning and then give up a run, and offensively you can't do the same.
And there's a ball that gets away from Bell, down a little bit low. He kind of bobbles it between his shoe heels and comes up with it. Runner not able to advance. He is at third base. That is Ward. Bowman, your hitter, is ahead in the count 1-0. There's a pitch that is going to be popped up on the infield. Coming over and calling off the center or the shortstop is third baseman Tate Goodrum, and Tate is able to come over and secure it.
No hits, and 1 Badger error.
No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left on. So that is the way 2 innings go in the books, and so the Badgers will come back out. It's been a fast 2 innings. The Badgers coming back out here to start the 3rd inning.
Babb with 25 total pitches.
And Donovan Whitten will be your leadoff hitter, followed by Carter Babb, and then back to the top of the order is Win Pentecost for Arkadelphia in the top of the 3rd. Once again, Badgers will be on the road again tomorrow afternoon. They will be in they will be in Fountain Lake. Got my lakes confused there in my head, but Fountain Lake. If you plan on traveling to Fountain Lake, they don't play at Fountain Lake School. They do play at Jessieville, which is on past the village. So don't make the mistake of Googling Fountain Lake High School and looking for a baseball field, because you won't find one.
It's I believe it's the North Garland County Boys and Girls Club. That may not be the exact name, but I know at one point, if you had to Google it, it was the North Garland County Boys and Girls Club. Both softball and baseball will be playing Fountain Lake tomorrow. It's an interesting facility because it's in the middle of Jessieville High School. It's between Jessieville High School and Fountain Lake. and both those schools use both of the for baseball and softball. So tomorrow afternoon you go pass through Fountain Lake, through the village, and before you get to Jessieville, it will be the on your right at the North Garland County Boys and Girls Club.
So we'd love for you to be on the broadcast, but we'd also love for you to be there in person. So get the family, go over to Hot Springs, have a good dinner after watching some baseball or softball action. And Witten gets into the first pitch, and it is gone. First Badger home run of the year, and it belongs to Donovan Witten. The first pitch, and he hammers it over the left center field wall. So the Badgers now even it up with one swing here in the top of the third, Chris.
Yeah, just glad to see Donovan get on track. Donovan has had power for a few years. He's got a good swing. He just has not been able to get on track this year, and he was able to tattoo that ball. Boy, it was a good shot. That was in the left center field gap if the fence hadn't been there, and that was a good shot by Donovan. Tremendous hit.
Donovan, and I don't mean to pick on him, and I wouldn't if he didn't just hit it over the fence, but he was batting 130 up to that point. He needed that worse as bad as anybody on the team. Babb takes strike one on the outside of Black. He's the ninth hitter for the Badgers. A little bit of a off-speed breaking ball there that Babb is out in front of and missed, and also got a little bit of the catcher. So umpire going to stroll out towards the mound and give the catcher a minute to get his senses. Boy, that hurts on any day, but it really hurts on a cold day like today.
Yeah, now you're down in the hole 0-2. You got to protect. Help your own cause a little here, and don't go fishing for another curveball.
And Babb gets out in front of that one again, able to make contact, but pulls it foul down the right side. So a little bit too much there. Babb's one of those players that's also patient and does not try to always overpower. He'll take what is given.
Yeah, he's not going to overpower you.
I don't mean he won't swing, but good pitch there by Gross, and it gets Babb for the first out of the inning. Now we're back to the top of the inning.
He'd had thrown two breaking balls in a row. He got the breaking ball that caught Carter out front for the 0-2 pitch. He was able to fight off the 0-2 breaking ball. Then he came back with a fastball, mixing it up, and kept him off balance, get the strikeout.
There's a shot down the left field in the left center field gap for Wynn Pentecost. So one pitch to Pentecost, and he shows us why he's in the leadoff spot with a one-out base hit here in the top of the third. So Badgers got something going here in the top of the third. Good to see the bottom of the lineup start to hit, and Witten and Bell and some of those guys. Good to see the top of the lineup is still hitting in Wynn Pentecost, and let's see if.
Yeah, and Donovan, he's just not an 8-hole hitter.
He's not.
Stereotypically, he has been there in the last few games because he just wasn't able to get anything done offensively. He's not an 8-hole hitter. Sure would like to see him get that average back up and start seeing the ball a little bit better like he did on that pitch. And we saw him with a couple of other at-bats last week. He had a double, I believe, at Prescott. So the last couple of games, Donovan's starting to see the ball a little bit better.
Count is even to the Badger third baseman, Tate Goodrum. Away from first is Pentecost, a very conservative lead. He is off and running, and the throw down from the catcher is not in time. It could have been there very easily, but he threw to the left side of the bag, Chris, and the shortstop was not able to catch and transfer over to the sliding Pentecost, and must have been a pretty good-looking slide. I think he slid maybe to the back of the bag.
He slid to the back of the bag, and that throw was just about 2 feet towards the third base side of second base, and shortstop didn't have enough time to come through and swipe that tag.
Real delayed steal there by Pentecost. Not sure if that was the intention or if he was just a little late getting the jump, but either way, he's able to get into second. Now the Badgers with another runner in scoring position and a 2-1 count to Goodrum. A little bit of peekaboo playing on there by the mid infielders, but not enough to draw the throw. And pretty good lead out there was Pentecost that time. He scurries back as the ball comes in for a third ball. 3 balls and a strike now to Goodrum. Pentecost represents the go-ahead run at second base with 1 out here in the top of the third.
Two sophomore lefties, both number 22 on the mound today for these teams.
And Goodrum draws a 1-out walk. So that's going to draw a visit from the Christian dugout. So very early visit here. Not a lot of problems for Gross to this point, but he has given up a leadoff home run and a 1-out base hit and a 1-out walk. So a little bit of early, don't look like he's probably going to be replaced, but there is starting to be some activity down in the bullpen for Christian. Looks like we got some work going on down there a little bit early. Still have the cold weather tops on, so not able to get a number.
They're going to keep the hoods on. You know, this is a sophomore battery. When I mentioned the catcher Charlie Carter, a sophomore, already committed to Oklahoma State. Good arm out there. You saw the throw down to second. You saw the arm on the catcher. Arkadelphia is not going to get a whole lot running because you combine the arm, you know, similar to what we saw at Lake Hamilton, to the, you know, not a whole lot of you know, overall team speed. But here's a big spot for Trip Campbell. Big gap there in right center field if he's able to get around on one.
And the right fielder not playing extremely deep either, not respecting any power there. So if he can get it over his head, and he may have just done it. That ball is hit long. He's hit hard. If it stays foul, there's some fair. It's gone, and it's just foul.
Just foul. And I'm glad because Tripp stayed in the box, but that ball hit the base of the fence, and it was just about a Subway sandwich foul. That was about a foot. There's you can't really tell on the screen, but the foul pole has a bar of the pole of the chain link fence about 1.5 feet to it, and it landed inside that chain link fence. So that was about 1.5 feet foul.
I guess he thought it's either going to be fair or either going to be foul or home run. There's no reason to get in a big hurry. Not always what a high school baseball coach wants to see out of his center fielder.
I think it got a little rise out of Coach Lowe. That was a great 0-1 pitch to breaking ball after he's just been able to get around on one. I almost hit a home run. That was a great 0-1 breaking ball to bring the count to 0-2.
Looks like Jackson Ward maybe a step or two deeper out there and right after that one. So a ball and 2 strikes now to Campbell as he has 1 runner in scoring position. That is Pentecost at second, Goodrum at first. 1 out here. Could be a big inning for Arkadelphia. Gross from the stretch outside and taken by Campbell for ball 2.
That's a good pitch. You know, he set up outside a little bit. Probably was trying to get Tripp to go after that 1-2 fastball outside. Good eye by Campbell to lay off of that one to even the count.
Here is the 2-2 stretch to the belt. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. High fastball swung under it was Campbell for out number 2.
Now batting for the Badgers, first baseman, number 26, Tucker Johnson.
Johnson now steps in. He is batting from the right side. He's your cleanup hitter. Batting right at 500 on the year. See if he can do what he's done all year, and that's drive in base runners. Good curveball, but finishes just a tad high for ball 1. A lot of movement on that one.
A lot of movement. It started up high though, so Tucker was able to see where it was going to come in. If he starts that at the numbers, that's going to be a hard pitch to lay off of and have enough break that it was not going to draw a lot of contact.
Another one sails high on the young Warrior pitcher, so quickly Tucker is in a familiar spot ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Like we've got a little brother or someone out trying to find that home run ball out behind the left center field fence, and he's getting directions from missile control up here. Not real sure who's giving him the directions, but he's in the general area. So 3-0 draws a visit from the plate in the form of catcher Charlie Carter. He goes out to visit with his battery mate. A little bit of encouragement there. Make sure he's aware of where to go if something's hit in any direction. gets back set on the rubber and ready for the 3-0 pitch to the Badger first baseman. Gives a look to both runners, and the ball sails outside for ball 4. So bases loaded now, and your senior, one of your seniors that's had a very good, one of your better averages on the year, one of your faster runners, one of your better contact hitters, and Preston Tomorrow's up to.
You'd almost take a swinging bunt right in the middle of no man's land, the Bermuda Triangle in the infield to advance runners.
And there's a shot that gets to the second baseman. He ranges to his left and makes a good-looking play as he comes up and beats the speedy Preston to first base with the throw. And so, as Arkadelphia has done so many times this year, they leave a small village on the bases, and all 3 bases covered with Badgers, and unable to get anything across except for the leadoff solo home run by Donovan Witten. And yes, Kerry Witten, we will try to do our best. If we can't get you a copy of that, we'll recreate it. How's that?
He did strand it, but he did put contact on the ball. After it looked like it would have been a strike. He just thrown 4 straight balls, so you want to see if he's going to throw you a strike and don't go fishing. Preston, that one was in the zone. He went the opposite way with it. The second baseman made a great play ranging to his left, as you mentioned. That was between his location and the first base bag, so he had to range a good amount left to make that play. So you put the ball in play. If they make a play, hats off to them, and that's what happened there. It's just unfortunate that it stranded another 3 runners for the Badgers.
Well, and we're still early. We are tied. We're tied with a pretty good team. We're on their home turf. It's a cold day out there, but it's cold for both teams. It's not like we're playing a team from Wisconsin. They're not any more used to these cold conditions than we are, so it's cold on them as well.
Yeah, I think that does show that shot from Donovan there in the top of the third. If you leave one up in the zone and a batter with any power that is able to get around on it, it's going to go a long way.
It is, and not that one would not have been out anyway, but the stiff breeze certainly didn't hurt it. And he got the pitch he wanted, and he did what he's supposed to. All right, so we are ready for business. We're going to be We're going to be 9-1-2 in the lineup for the Warriors. Leading off is pitcher Nate Gross. Left-handed pitcher, also hits from the left side.
Just want to keep it down in the zone. For both these pitchers, this is a pitcher-on-pitcher matchup, but both of them want to keep it down in the zone.
And there's a square around for a bunt. Not sure if he pulled it back. I didn't see.
He did pull it back. It was a ball. He thought the ball had grazed his pant leg. The umpire just said no, sir. And so it's 1-0 instead of a leadoff on base.
He goes back to almost an abbreviated. He flashes a bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 2. Right on the outside edge. There's a shot that's hit foul and out of play over the Badger dugout and into the street. And so the Warrior pitcher now is looking at a 2-1 count. I believe he's the only lefty in the lineup for Christian, and so that's always a different look for a pitcher, if even a lefty like Babb, to see that guy up on the other end, up on the other side, the wrong side of the plate, if you will. And there's a shot to the second baseman. Drew Rogers ranges to his left, comes up, makes the throw, and it is just in time.
Just in time is exactly right. Good speed getting down the line that time by the pitcher, Nate Gross. That was in the hole, very similar to Preston Tomorrow's, but if you're swinging left hand, you have another step that right-handed batter doesn't have, and Drew was almost a little bit too lackadaisical with the throw. It's a good play, good throw, not taking anything away from it, but that Gross made that a lot closer than it looked like it might be off the bat. Good speed down the line.
Back to the top of the lineup is Reed Bowman, the shortstop. He takes ball 1 and another ball inside, so he's quickly ahead 2-0. One out here in the bottom of the third. Tie score 1-1. There's a shot to the third baseman. Up with it is Goodrum. He fires across. Great snag. Back over his right side with his left-handed first baseman's mitt. There's a reason that catchers and first basemen have bigger gloves, Chris.
That's a good thing on that one. Tate did a nice job of fielding. He just came up a little bit came up on his throw, didn't drive behind it and throw it all the way across there. Nice job by Tucker Johnson in the field of coming across his body and catching that one on the hop.
Used all of that big first baseman's mitt to get that one. So now 2 down. Working quickly is Babb. He gets ahead in the count for the first batter of the inning. And that batter is Isaac Nowell, the center fielder for Little Rock Christian. It is Little Rock Christian Academy. It is not necessarily high school. It is academy.
Do you know what it used to be named, Blake?
I do not, but I bet you'll tell me. Or I bet somebody in this booth can tell us.
I'll tell you. There it's gone.
There's one that's a shot. No. It's back. It's hanging up. Under it is DeMauro, and he makes one that looked like a rocket ship off the bat, get up there in the stratosphere and get knocked down by these gale winds up here.
Yeah, that was interesting. I thought off the bat that with the winds that we had that had a lot straighter. But you do look down the flag down the third base line where in the first couple of innings that flag was blowing directly away from us. Now it's kind of settled down a little bit, and that wind that ball didn't have a chance to get hit by the wind. Walnut Valley Christian Academy.
Wasn't that on?
Used to be affiliated with, it was over off of Breckenridge Village. Had cousins who went to Walnut Valley and an aunt who taught music at Walnut Valley.
Walnut Valley. That's kind of like Little House on the Prairie, wasn't it? Like
Except
Walnut?
It was in West Little Rock.
Okay, it wasn't
West
in Minnesota
Kansas.
or wherever that was. Yeah, Walnut Grove, I think. Walnut Grove. That was the Little House on the Prairie.
Sorry, I was too young.
Okay, let's don't remind everybody about the play-by-play guy's age here. So,
Mom watched it a lot.
Yeah, I bet she did.
I went out and threw a baseball against the wall when it came on. No, but Walnut Valley Christian Academy was over on behind Breckenridge Theater, and moved out here probably been out here 10, 15 years. I can't remember exactly, but
well, Chris, we have a new pitcher. Grayson O'Dwyer is the new pitcher. He's a sophomore, so a lot of young pitchers getting work, and I'm sure, depending on how it goes score-wise, Arkadelphia may follow suit and get some young guys some work. Absolutely.
If nothing else, with having 2 conference games and 2 non-conference games this week, Coach Lowe's gone with a conference rotation the first couple of weeks, and to set that up, and you have to have in games like this when you have to have good basically what you would equate to a midweek start on the college level from pitchers that don't normally get in, and that's what Bab's giving today. He's already given 3 innings, and anything after 3 I think would be a bonus.
You're absolutely right, and the new pitcher for Christian looks to have a little bit more zip on his throw there. May have a little more velocity than Gross did. Bell is in. He kind of fanned at strike 1. I think he was a little not quite ready for a little bit of step up there in velocity. He swings at strike 2 now, and the count is even 2-2.
It's a good 2-1 pitch, low and outside on that outside corner.
So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bell able to reach in the second inning. We'll see if he can get on here, and he swings at ball at strike 3. Sure-handed catcher comes up after it gets away from him, and he throws Bell out at first. So a strikeout throw out for the first out of the inning, and Drew Rogers now is your hitter. Not a very good looking at bat there for Bell. He looked like he was a little bit out over and casting with his maybe some movement on that with that right-hander that's got a little bit of a slider movement to it. It's starting to tail off, and it kind of has the batters casting, or at least had Bell casting a little bit at it and not getting out over the plate with the rest of his body. Strike called there to Drew Rogers to start the at-bat.
Good breaking ball to start off the at bat. Dwyer got ahead in the count to 0-1, and then that a little bit low and outside. That's when he got Bell to go after in the previous at bat. Rogers held off.
There's a shot down the third base line, gets right over the glove of the diving third baseman for a base hit, and Drew Rogers needed that too, Chris. He's been a little bit slow coming around with the bat, and that's a good base hit here with one out.
Great job by Drew. Took the 1-1 pitch, went with it, got around on it. Third baseman was not going to be able to make a play, and it was out of your picture. But if anybody here, that's by Gross out there who's gone to left field now. That's how you get a ball back into the field. He spun with the left. He spun with his backside and just fired the ball to the second baseman covering the bag, and that's how you get the ball in quickly.
There's a reason that Charlie Carter's committed to Oklahoma State, and that we just saw it. He zipped that throw down to first base behind Rogers. He wasn't able to get him. Rogers, a senior over there, he's got some prowess on the bases, and there's a shot from Witten that gets up just enough to hang up and coming in to make the play as the center fielder Nowell. So 2 down now. Rogers stranded at first base. Carter Babb, not Chris Babb. Chris Babb doesn't bat left-handed.
Doesn't bat right-handed either. No, that was a good contact by Donovan. Just got out in front of it just a little bit there.
Babb with a shot out to right field, but ranging over and able to make the play is Jackson Ward, and the inning is over. The Badgers do leave one. They do strand one, and that's all the damage that they could do here in the top of the fourth. So we're halfway done, and we are tied up. Very quick and efficient inning for the pitcher O'Dwyer, as he only threw 11 pitches. And he's able to not only did he saw 4 batters and only threw 11 pitches. So very
Witten and Babb, those last 2 outs, went after the first pitches. They were good contact for both of those. Witten, just as we mentioned, didn't stay back, got over top out in front of just a little bit, and that lazy line drive to center field. Babb, that's the most power we've seen from him. Got that ball, just got it up a little bit too high in the air. The right fielder was able to track over into the gap and make that catch. He's had a couple of base hits into right center field, but you get that ball in the air on a day like this, it's going to hang up there and allow the outfielder to come get it.
We're seeing some pretty clean baseball today. Some strike throwing from our pitchers, some good contact by hitters on both teams, some good defense. We've had a couple of little bobbles, but not a lot of base running errors. We had an overthrow at first base on a pickoff move. But, for the most part, it's been a pretty clean game, especially for a cold day like today.
Yeah, and the thing about that, you go back to that pickoff that Babb threw over Johnson's head that went down to the angle on that. It went down the fence line and allowed the runner to go all the way to third base. But the good thing about it is you're able to come back. You have 2 outs. You're able to get that last out. You're able to strand that runner at third base, and that's not something Arkadelphia had done. So now another sophomore on sophomore, but the sophomore at the plate, 6'3", 195. Sophomore at the mound is not. But Charlie Carter, good looking baseball player there, a sophomore.
But not a good-looking swing. He fished at that one. Good pitch by Babb as he gets quickly ahead 0-1. Carter, a righty, and the catcher, again, he hits that one hard on the screws to Tate Goodrum, and Tate able to come up and make a nice throw over to first for the first out of the inning. Very efficient first out there by Babb, and his 3-year starter there for Arkadelphia, the most veteran player as far as playing time on this Badger team is that guy right there, Tate Goodrum.
Well, and you saw his throw. He got behind that one a little bit more. He looked over Coach Lowe, just kind of acknowledged a little bit better, wasn't it? And it was a good throw by Tate to get that the dangerous Carter out.
So Johnson didn't have to use all that big glove over there that time. As a better throw. 1 ball, 1 strike now to the first baseman. That's Connor Whipple. And Whipple with some Arkadelphia connections, but not the Arkadelphia connections you might think of. I believe that's right. Not the
Whipple you were thinking. I
not
don't
the
believe,
Whipple that
but,
you think of, but
he's another one on this team who will be in Arkadelphia next fall. He's signed to play football at Ouachita's. 1-2 breaking ball just started way too far outside that time from Babb and wasn't going to fool Whipple at all.
But he had a pitch to burn. It's not a bad pitch. 2-2 now coming into Whipple as he goes outside a little bit off the black there for ball 3. So Whipple with a good job of running the count full now. Let's see what Babb can do. 3-2, 1 out, nobody on. Top of the 4th, and we're tied at 1 here in Little Rock. There's a pop-up that's Mike going to get back. It's going to get back out of play. So fighting off that inside pitch and staying alive is Whipple. I see a lot of folks that are walking back from the concession stand with cups of coffee today and not so many. There's a shot down the left field line. It's going to get in fair, and coming in is DeMauro. He's going to try for second. The throw is not in time.
Yeah, that was a close play at second. Whipple didn't decide. He went in standing up. Drew Rogers' tag was just a little bit late, but that ball, you could see that was possibly going to be 2 off the bat. After that got into left field, and as much rain as there's been across this, in our area, that outfield is still soft, and that was going to die once it got out there. Preston DeMauro had to run a good bit away to catch that ball, to pick the ball up because it wasn't going to carry out to him. So that off the bat, that had a good chance at a double for Whipple.
Coming out of the box again, strong is a lot of what got him there. And Reese Torini now is your hitter. And down in the dirt for ball 2. Bell blocks it out in front, gets back about halfway to the pitcher's mound. No activity from the runner. Whipple at second base now with 1 out. Tie score, he's the go-ahead run. With Torini here, 2 balls and no strikes. And, man, that pitch looked good. I guess it must have been a little bit low.
Yeah, it looked like that one was Babb just got that one a little bit too low in the zone. Now it's 3-0.
So not gone 3-0 to many hitters. And that one might have brushed him. Either way, it's ball 4. So now with 1 out, we've got runners at first and second. The force is back on, and that's usually a good thing. The problem is Arkadelphia just can't seem to keep the force on with problems keeping runners in position. We'll see if Babb can do that here as Kaufman, the second baseman, is going to lay down a bunt, and it's a pretty one, and it's going to get down the third base line and draw a throw that's way late, maybe hung up between bases and he's going to be back in. Whipple had almost committed too far coming home from third, but bases are loaded nonetheless, and getting on down there in the lineup.
Now batting, number 10, Grayson O'Dwyer.
Grayson O'Dwyer now, he come in to pitch, and he's also going to come in the
7-hole.
The 7-hole, so he's replacing Jackson Ward in the lineup.
Yeah, Ward stayed out in right field. Gross went to left. Bases loaded, big spot for both teams here in the bottom of the 4th. Ooh, gets a call on that one. It looked like the 0-1, the first pitch breaking ball is called for a strike 1, and so he's ahead in the count 0-1 as the batter looks down and gets a sign. O'Dwyer now has a chance to help his own cause.
There's a high fastball. He wanted it. Started to offer at it, held his swing back, so 1 ball and a strike now. Babb trying to work out of some trouble here, is trying to hang on to an even score as the bases are loaded now. Nowhere to put batters or runners. 2 balls and a strike now to the new Little Rock Christian pitcher. From the abbreviated windup, about all you get anymore out of these young pitchers. There's a strike, runs the count even to 2 balls and 2 strikes. If we're going to get a strikeout, this would be a good time to have it, or a pop-up on the infield. Something we might be able to. And there's a swinging third strike that is missed, high and outside. Nice placement there by Babb, and it gets O'Dwyer for the second out of the inning.
Number 25.
And we got what we needed there, and one way or the other. So let's see if the Badgers can return the favor and leave the bases full of Warriors here.
Talk about our youth, but there are a lot of sophomores, and this is a freshman in that Little Rock Christian lineup.
And he takes a ball high and outside. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It sails outside. Bell slides out and gets a hold of it. Keeps it off the backstop. Not a deep backstop here, but we just saw the Whipple, who's over at third, take a two-bagger on what might have been a single for a lot of hitters. 3 balls and no strikes now to Cade Bowman. He's the number 8 hitter in the lineup. I'd like to see the Badgers be able to get through this bottom part.
That's not what you want. You battle back, you get the bases loaded, you're able to get that second out with a strikeout, and then the 4-pitch walk gives Little Rock Christian the lead.
So Nate Gross, who started the game pitching, then went to left field.
Now it's where the big spot is. You give up 1 with bases loaded, you're okay, but you don't want to give up a base hit that's going to score at least 2.
There's a pitch on the outside that is questionable, but does get the call for
I must have bought one
Babb.
of those plates that has black, about 6 inches of black around it.
Yep.
We'll take it.
We'll take it. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and he swung at about the same pitch.
Yeah. That's why I didn't swing at the first one, because you can't hit that pitch.
That's exactly right. And so now Babb, who walked the last hitter, is up 0-2 and comes in with a pitch that just misses low for the first.
This is a good 0-2 pitch. You want to try to see if you can get him fishing on something low, breaking ball low. But nice plate discipline by Gross on that 0-2 pitch.
There's a ball that's inside,
No,
it hit the batter. Now, I know it hit the umpire, but I didn't see it hit the batter. I think it hit the umpire inside of his – looked like it hit the inside of his foot.
that's
I never saw it
tough.
hit the batter.
That's tough. If I'm Gross, though, and the umpire says dead ball, I'm sprinting down to first.
So how did the umpire not know that it hit him? I guess he thought it caromed off the player to him.
Shortstop, 16, Reed Bowman.
Well, unfortunate for Arkadelphia as it may have been, it is now a 3-1 game. And back to the top of the lineup, that's Reed Bowman with the bases full of Little Rock Christian. And there is a pop-up, just what the Badgers needed about 2 outs ago. The wind blows it back a little bit to Tucker's right, but he's able to field it from his first base position. And a couple of unfortunate things, one our fault, maybe one that wasn't our fault. It's got us in a 3-1 hole.
Yeah, that's a tough one. You never know what Bowman would have done if he had, or excuse me, if what Gross would have done if they had not called that a hit batsman. But regardless, you do give up those 2 runs, and so Little Rock Christian gets bases loaded. They're able to get 2 home without the benefit of a hit. One of them was a walk, and the other was the hit batter. And so, that's been the difference all season, and Arkadelphia has not been able to get those across.
One thing that is a little different is that they did leave the bases loaded, and that's something that the Badgers have been doing a lot of on their offensive side of the ball, but not doing so much and leaving those runners out there is a benefit. Arkadelphia. It certainly could have been worse. But you know what? It's 3-1. It's still a lot of baseball left to be played. 9 outs on both sides of the ball left in this game at a minimum. And Arkadelphia is back to the top of the lineup.
Yeah, Wynn got a base hit the last time he was up. See if he can stay hot and try to get something going. You got to get runners in scoring position, and then you got to take advantage of those when you have a chance.
O'Dwyer is back out for his second inning of work as the right-hander comes set and delivers the first pitch to Pentecost, and it's low for ball 1. And O'Dwyer wants a new ball. That one got in a little scuffed up on its way into win on that first pitch, so he'll get a new ball. Bright and shiny. You think they hit white balls for batting practice here?
I don't know. A couple of those guys get hold of them, not going to be white for long.
There's a ball that's lifted out into left field, sails harmlessly to the left fielder, and that is
Gross.
Gross out there. Nate Gross.
Batters number 1, third baseman Tate Goodrum.
Yeah, Wynn, if he gets behind that ball, he's got a little bit more power on it and may have been able to get over the head. But these outfielders are playing shallow, but they've been playing correctly. And they've only been able to, Arkadelphia has only been able to get over them 1 or 2 times, and one of those was Witten's home run there in the top of the third.
So there's a ball foul back for strike 1 from Tate Goodrum. 1 out now in the top of the 5th inning. Badgers trailing 3-1. Gave up a couple in the bottom of the 4th. And there's a good pitch by O'Dwyer for strike 2. Is taken by Tate, and he's behind 1-2 in the count. There's a shot right back up the box. It's fielded on a hop by the pitcher, O'Dwyer, who goes to first for the 2nd out of the inning. That one almost got through.
Yeah, it looked like it might have had a chance, but then O'Dwyer did a nice job fielding his position, sticking the glove out there, making a clean stop and a good throw over to Whipple at first.
I had one squeeze through there earlier in the game to the left-handed pitcher, but a right-handed pitcher now fell off to the right side of the mound this time, and that was where he needed to be.
Good.
1 strike now. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Blake. Good first pitch breaking ball. Caught Tripp off guard on that one. Good pitch by O'Dwyer to get ahead in the count.
Looks like you guys have got a new baby tiger. Listening to some of our
Not an actual baby tiger.
Not a baby like a Joe Tiger. But a
Tripp
baby
fouls that
OBU.
one. Big healthy cut from Campbell. Fouls that one off of his right leg, and that's not going to feel good when it's 75, much less when it's 45. But, yeah, congratulations to Arkadelphia School Board President Casey Model and his family, as his son Ryan, daughter Sadie. Oh, sorry. That's his mother-in-law. Ryan and Maddie had their baby girl
of a new
just
baby
this afternoon.
Congratulations to the Model family.
Tripp looks like he's going to step back in there, and I was going to notice this earlier, but it was a big spot in the game. Do you have George Jetson as your?
I do. I have the George Jetson
tone?
doorbell as my text alert, and
That's what I thought.
that's just how we roll here. I'm sure you're too young to remember that too, aren't you?
No, but that's a great job by O'Dwyer of fielding his position. He makes a lob over to Whipple, who's able to put the out. But nice job by O'Dwyer of fielding his position. 2 straight outs, a ground ball directly up the middle. That was going over the rubber and towards second base. And it was a nice job by O'Dwyer of fielding his position.
Arkadelphia putting the ball in play, and that's just what they've got to do. They're playing against a very good defensive team that's doing their job today for the most part. And, you know, you keep putting the bat on the ball, good things will happen at some point, just not all going the way of Arkadelphia this afternoon. Yeah, I have the Jetsons doorbell, and I did have the Bewitched nose twitch. I thought that was pretty neat to
We do sound like Phil and Bubba now.
we do. All right, so back out for another inning of work is Babb, and he's done a great job through 4 innings, giving Arkadelphia what they need, and that's just some innings out of their young staff on a day that's, we wouldn't say necessarily midweek, but it is a non-conference affair. We need a win today, but we really need a conference win tomorrow night as well, and need as much pitching as we can salvage.
Yeah, most likely Tripp Campbell will get the start tomorrow on the mound at Fountain Lake in a conference game. Arkadelphia 1-2, and conference play. The Bauxite lost, the 4-2 loss to Bauxite when they had the 2-run homer in the top of the 7th. Was a tough one, and then Malvern was just able to hit the ball and score runs Tuesday night. But Arkadelphia needs to, you'd like to see them finish these last couple innings with just some hits offensively, get some runners on base, and whatever happens. But you just want to carry momentum into the conference tomorrow night.
Isaac Now's now stepping up. He's swinging at the first pitch and fouls it back out of play over the right side. Center fielder is going to get some instruction from his coach over in the third base box.
I believe this is the third time now it's been up. He got hit the first time and then popped out the second time, I believe.
So Coach Eller giving him a little bit of instruction, a quick timeout, and he's back in the box now on the right side. Bab back from the windup, going to work. Ahead 0-1. There's a pitch, sails high. Even the count. Got a couple of little shots of sunshine earlier in the afternoon, but it's overcast right now. The wind's still whistling out of the northwest, 10 to 15 miles an hour, and it steadily got cooler on the way up here today. It got started in the low 50s and was in the upper 40s. I'm sure it's probably in the mid 40s by now, and that wind chill makes it feel like it's colder than that. There's a pitch.
Good spot. Good eye by now to leave that one up just outside, high in the zone. Good plate discipline to leave that one and not go fishing after it.
2-2 count. Here comes Babb quickly, and he hits him in the back for the second time of the game. And sometimes, even if it's not necessarily in the front of your mind, it's in the back of your mind as a pitcher. When you've hit someone, it's hard not to hit them again. And you can't always. Sometimes it's a coincidence, and sometimes it's just you're trying so hard to throw that perfect pitch. There's a shot that is hit high and short into left field. Ranging back is Witten, and he drops it. It got away from him just a bit, and he's not able to get it. The wind again moving that ball just out of his reach. He had plenty of time to get there, Chris. He just undershot it a little bit, and the wind was the culprit.
Yeah, you don't know if he called off Preston, but that's going to be a tough one. And that ball was in the air long enough for the outfield to be able to come in and maybe call that off. Don't know what kind of communication was going on there. Donovan might have called Preston off, and it did look like he was camped out under and just kept drifting. So tough one there for the Badgers. It should be one on with one out. Instead, you have first and second with nobody out and look for a couple of steals possibly in bunts.
And I don't think the footing is probably not real great out there in left field. It looks like it's very, very soft. Preston's looking around a lot. You mentioned earlier that ball that was hit out there really died in front of him, so he's not able to get that normal jump that he would, so not able to get to it. There's a big swing and a miss by Whipple. So nobody out, runners at first and second. Here we are in the bottom of the fifth inning, 3-1 lead for Christian. Babb has gone the distance for Arkadelphia. Finds himself in a little bit of trouble here in the fifth. And he'll step off. The runners scurry back to their bags, and Drew Rogers briefly holding on the runner at second base.
With Tate playing in, expecting him to run, and there he goes.
There's a run, and there's an overthrow. The runner gets into third easily. The ball is thrown to second and behind the runner, and then thrown over the third baseman's head by Rogers.
No, it's easier said than done, but if Carter wheels and tries to throw that ball to third instead of second, you're probably going to be able to at least get in a rundown. But now you're in a spot with two runners on scoring position, nobody out, and 1-1 count, and Whipple has a chance to kind of put some separation on the scoreboard.
And he drives one to shallow right field. It should score one runner. Hayden Harper up with it, makes the throw. It's cut off by Johnson. He's going to third. The runner is caught, trying to advance. Nice play there as Harper is able to hit the cutoff man, do exactly what you should. Don't strong arm it on a windy, cold day. And a runner you're probably not going to get at the plate. Great reaction there by not only the right fielder, but the first baseman, Tucker Johnson, in getting the runner.
Yeah, Harper did a nice job of camping out, making that catch, hitting Tucker, and then, of course, we're inside, thankfully, and we can't hear, but Tucker immediately came up, looked at his runner at second, saw that he was only about halfway, made a nice throw over to Goodrum to get that second out.
Good fundamental baseball, an inning that could have been really big and hopefully won't be. They're still batting with 2 outs now, but the bases are now empty and only 1 run has come across. There's a ball that is inside. Don't see how it did not hit Torini, but
if it did, Torini said, I don't want to get hit. I want to hit the ball.
He's a magic man. He that one went through his legs, I believe. And there's one that doesn't miss him. It hits him square in the left shoulder, so he's going to go down to first base. And we'll see if there's any activity in the Arkadelphia pen. I don't see any.
Can't tell. Carter had 66 pitches, I believe, at the end of the 4th inning, and at least I'd say 15. So he's probably up around 80 pitches, if not just past it. That's going to be, especially having been in basketball, and he's probably hitting his limit. But in a space in a game where it's a non-conference game, it's a good spot. You got to fight through it, try to get out of it, and try to get a stop.
Well, and the other thing, too, is that we do have a week. We do have a not necessarily an off week, but we have a week next week that could be a light week. With it being spring break, we're going to get a chance to rest some arms. I know that the catcher, Bell, he comes on with me every night, and he's been a little sore. I had the icy hot and the ice on it, so they could take a couple of days off. And running a few, you don't want to get anybody hurt, especially in these cold temperatures, but this may be a day where some of these guys in a week where we kind of get it a little overexerted and have a little time to catch up and heal up next week.
Heal up and then get ready for Bryant.
There you go. Get ready for Bryant. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 1 on. Runner. Bell coming up with it. Good strong throw, and it's dropped by
Whitten came in front of the bag, and that throw, I thought it was right on the bag. It looked like Donovan caught that one in front of the bag, and maybe knew that the runner was there. He's going to have to make a quick swipe tag, and just didn't catch the ball first. But now it's a 2-1 count. Another runner in scoring position with 2 outs, and they've shown that they're going to get big leads at second and try to really push the issue and try to get an extra secondary so you can definitely score on anything to the outfield.
Not sure that I wouldn't leave Rogers a little closer there, even though it's leaving a big hole on the right side. These right-handed hitters, and there's the ball that and here was that ball 4?
That was ball 4. So now runners at the corners and 2 outs, and Coach Lowe's going to call time and come out to the mound.
And that might be all for Bab, as sometimes Father knows best. We can always tell when our guys are.
But it's a good time to also challenge. It looks like Coach Lowe's challenging him. I mean, try to get out of this. I mean, you got 2 outs, throw to the mitt, try to make something happen. Let them put it in play. If they make a play, that's great. But challenge the batter. Don't throw it low because nobody's going to, or short and bounce it up there because nobody's going after that. Try to make a pitch, dig. Try to show something.
So runners at the corners now, 2 outs. We do still have the force on. We'll see if the runner goes for second. That's been usually what goes on here is they take the force off. Arkadelphia normally does not throw. We'll see if they do. There goes the runner, and there is no throw. So runners at second and third now, 2 runners in scoring position. 1 run already across for the Warriors. A 4-1 lead now here in the bottom of the 5th. Ball sails just a bit outside for ball 2. Here's the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and hit deep to left. Ranging over to his left is DeMauro. He makes the catch for out number 3. And that one looked like a little bit of trouble off the bat, but it got up there and lazily got into the glove.
Yeah, I think
DeMauro.
after Donovan's shot in the top of the 3rd, I kind of thought anything that looked like it had that trajectory coming off the bat was going to be a little bit deeper than it was. But it's just a good shot by Donovan. Maybe it was just a better better hit than, obviously it was a good hit, but not as much wind aided as we originally said. But that was a good job of getting out of that. Preston Tomorrow goes over in the left field gap to make the catch. So you limit the damage to only one run there in the top of the fifth, bottom of the fifth, excuse me, when you had two runners in scoring position. So Arkadelphia strands two more Little Rock Christian runners. Now you just got to be able to capitalize that off offensively when you only have 6 outs left.
Yeah, and that's what the Badgers do need to do. They need to get the bats going and turn the station-to-station work they've been putting in into some big base hits, some extra base hits even. And a good person to get that started is Tucker Johnson. We cannot see the Arkadelphia bullpen, so it's hard to see if anyone is warming up. But according to the official scorekeepers, 86 pitches now for Babb, so that really – most likely going to be the end of his afternoon, as that's getting on up there for any pitcher, but especially one that's not had as much pitching work this early in the season and on a cold, windy afternoon. O'Dwyer is back out for his third inning of work for Christian, and he'll face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters for Arkadelphia. Tucker Johnson tomorrow and Jarrett Bell.
26, first baseman, Tucker Johnson.
So here's Tucker now, leading off the 6th. 4-1 deficit is Arkadelphia. O'Dwyer, first pitch, just a bit outside. Good take by Johnson. That could have gone either way. I think the pitcher might have been set up just a hair on the inside. Now he sets up a little bit outside. We'll see if he goes back there again. And there's one down in the dirt that misses for ball 2.
Yeah, the wind's picked up again. It is chilly. I think there are probably about 12 people in this place that aren't cold. The 7 or 8 of us that are up here, and there's about 5 people sitting in front of this double-barrel propane heater. That's nice.
Yeah, it looks kind of like a concentration camp in South Dakota, because there are multicolored blankets and sleeping bags, and
it looks like that could be on Star Wars.
Oh, wow, that thing looks like a robot, doesn't it?
C-3PO's cousin.
3 balls and no strikes to the junior first baseman.
Done that before, Blake. They've got that in a milk crate, and they've got wheels on that milk crate.
Now, this is West Little Rock. This is not Arkadelphia, so they don't think always the same. But I'll give them the ingenuity, the A for ingenuity. That's.
Batting for the Badgers, number 10, right fielder, Preston Tomorrow.
Good AB by Tucker. I mean, it's just been all season, whether it's getting hit by pitches, getting base hits, leading off innings, getting on base. Tucker Johnson's been the best offensive threat for Arkadelphia.
There's a shot to the shortstop, ranging over at the third baseman. He's not going to have a play at second. No throw to first, and everybody's safe. He kind of got between. He had a little bit of bobbling issue with transferring it, and he had to go a long way, the third baseman.
It looked like he initially was going to go to second. Not sure if the second baseman was there. He just couldn't quite get it out of his glove cleanly. But then he looked over to first, and you have Preston Tomorrow at the plate. He's probably one of the only Badgers that was going to be able to make that beat that out without even a throw, but just kind of got caught in no man's land.
And credit there to Tucker Johnson. He's not the fastest Badger by any means, but he got a great jump and was able to make it in safely. He's going to get back to second.
He wanted to dive and get those pants clean.
He did. He wanted to give Miss Renata a little work to do this afternoon, but luckily he didn't. Jarrett Bell now at the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. Swinging at a high strike, and that one up and out of the zone and looking like a beach ball, and he needed a boat paddle to hit that beach ball and had neither one, so he's down 0-1 in the count. Runners away from first and second for Arkadelphia. Tucker Johnson and Preston Tomorrow. Outside pitch to Bell. Sails, and it's ball 1.
It's a good pitch. That's a good 0-1 pitch, just outside, just a little bit, a couple inches too much, but a good spot to try to get a batter who's down in a count to try to go outside and get.
So big spot here for Arkadelphia, needing 3 runs to get back in this. The tying run is at the plate. Bell swinging at an outside pitch, going fishing again for strike 2. Drew Rogers on deck. He'll hit here in the top of the 6th. 6 more outs for Arkadelphia. And there's a pitch that's the one he needed to swing at and did not, so he's rung up backwards K for Bell, and that's the first out of the inning. Drew Rogers now steps in. Drew with a base hit today, and see if he can do some good for his fellow Badgers. Couple of runners on, 1 out now, trailing 4-1, top of the 6th here at Little Rock Christian. You know, I saw LRC on the schedule early in the year, and that could be a number of different places. Wasn't really sure what that meant. Little Rock Catholic, Little Rock Central, Little Rock Christian. But here we are on a cold afternoon in West Little Rock. There's a fly ball, easy, should be an easy play into center field, and it is for the second out of the inning. Isaac Nowell out there makes about 2 steps in, measures it up, and makes the play.
Shortstop, Donovan Witter.
Witten now is your batter. He's got a solo home run today. He's hitting 1 for 2. And
2 outs, another runner in scoring position. As you see the Little Rock Christian coach come out and talk to Dwyer and Carter on the mound. This is a big spot for Donovan. You know, obviously you'd like to put something in the gap and possibly in the right place is going to be able to score Tucker. But if nothing else, you just want to see Donovan be able to get on base. He had the good home run, then he had a line drive to center field. See if he can stay back and put the bat on the ball and just continue to make contact.
Righty on righty matchup here. Donovan got the red hood hanging out of over that number 6. And he put one up into the stratosphere earlier. He is the tying run. We'll see if he can match that here in the top of the 6th. Good pitch right down the middle, and it starts out.
You wonder if they talked about just feeding him steady diet of breaking balls. Don't leave a fastball right there at the belt, and he starts off with a breaking ball to get ahead in the count 0-1.
Probably not a bad idea for O'Dwyer. Big, strong Witten, and now he's fisted in on his hands and just is able to foul it off down the right field side harmlessly in front of the Warriors dugout, so he's quickly behind 0-2. And whatever pitching coach said to O'Dwyer is working so far.
So where Carter sets up for this one. Sets up on the outside part of the plate, trying to get Donovan fishing.
And the pitch is right over the plate. It's dropped, swung on for strike 3. There's the throw to third for the force out, and Arkadelphia once again leaves runners on 2 this time, and nobody able to come across.
No hits and 1 Warrior error.
Just not as efficient as Arkadelphia needs to be.
Let's see if we can't show these people. There we go. We got a camera. We might as well try to move it.
Yeah, there's our robot / heater / new Star Wars creature of the month down there that's keeping a handful of Little Rock Christian fans.
That is fantastic.
That is awesome.
I'm going to leave that there. You see the wheels on the back.
Yep.
On the back of that is fantastic. I'm going to take a picture of that.
All that needs
I would say I'd do it myself, but I think people at home know better than that. But
all that needs
fantastic.
is a deer stand, Chris.
Yeah, I think people at home know that I'm not in that either. Looks like Ashton Cobb will be the new pitcher for Arkadelphia. The freshman will come out. Has done some good work for the Badgers all season from the mound. He's going to throw strikes and let the batters put the ball in play. So Ashton Cobb comes back out. It looks like the rest of the defense is the same, except Carter Babb goes from the mound out to right field.
And so that's the way we'll start the bottom of the 6th inning. Very, very efficient game, very good game for Carter Babb. A lot of good things that he did. He got 6 innings of work in, or 5 innings of work, and that's the main thing, is that he got 5 good innings of work in and didn't walk a lot of batters, hit a couple. but very respectable work here. And as Chris said, Ashton Cobb has been quite a surprise as a young freshman, coming in almost every game and delivering and doing a great job. He's very fundamentally sound. He throws a good positioning. He positions the ball well around the plate, holds runners on well, very quick worker.
Missed two tough ones there right out of the gate to Ashton. You know, the last couple of innings, that umpire's not been given anything outside the right-handed batters at all.
Cade Bowman is the hitter, and the first strike is across for Ashton. So 2 balls and a strike to the third baseman. There's a ball that just gets down and out of the zone apparently for ball 3. So 3 balls and a strike now. First batter of the bottom of the 6th. 4-1 is our score. Badgers trailing here at Little Rock Christian, and there's a leadoff walk for the 8 hitter and the 9-hole hitter up.
Now batting the left fielder, number 22, Nate Gross.
Nate Gross now, who started the game on the mound and is now in left field.
Yeah, he's got really good speed too. You see Goodrum playing even with the bag almost on the grass at third base. You know, you're up by 3. You can get a couple of insurance runs here if you can force the issue, potentially trying to put something in motion here.
Not a bad place for a bunt here, and it looks like he's awful stiff-legged, like he might be. No, he's going to take a pitch. There's a throw that sails to the left side of the bag for Bell going down into second. So
it's just a clean steal. It was a take from Gross and get the runner in scoring position. So now Gross can try to drive him in with a base hit to the outfield and get another insurance run for the Warriors.
Bowman got a little speed over there on the bases, so he's easily able to get in and swipe second base. Charging now, and now showing bunt is the batter.
Okay.
Creeping in is Goodrum, and the ball gets away from the catcher, bounces off the back of his heel, and again the runner is able to move up a base. So that's an error by Bell. He lets that one get by him. The bat got in his eyes or something happened, and the ball hits off the heel of his mitt and goes off of his left foot, bounces over toward the LRC side of the backstop, and now the runner is 90 feet away with nobody out. Swing and a miss.
It was a good breaking ball from the righty that tailed away from the left-handed batter. It's a good pitch by Ashton Cobb. Started off on the outer half of the plate, just tailed away, and impossible to hit.
2 balls and a strike now to the 9-hole hitter.
Don't know if I'd throw it again, though.
Gross. And he didn't. He left it outside, though. So it's, again, 3 balls and a strike. And having a little command issue is Cobb, his second batter of the inning. And
now I think you might be able to go back to that. You can duplicate that. That was a fantastic pitch to get that first swinging strike.
Almost impossible to hit. And he goes back. Apparently we had a wrong count going on because there's a swing and a miss that is strike 3. We thought it was would have been strike 2, but must have been 2 and 2 instead of 3 and 1.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a good at bat there by good pitching in that at bat by Ashton Cobb with the runner at third. Now you have 1 out, and the runner still at third. But nice job by Ashton getting that one out on the strikeout of Gross. Good pitch.
So back to the top of the lineup we go. Shortstop Reed Bowman is your batter.
That broke a lot. Must have still been on the inside and blocked by the catcher and the umpire, but that was a good breaking ball by Ashton Cobb.
1 out, 1 on, still 4-1 Christian. Here's the pitch. That one again gets away from Bell. Not real sure if he's just having trouble catching it, if he's having trouble with the signs, but normally doesn't have that many balls get away from him. So 2 balls, no strikes to the Warriors' leadoff hitter. From the stretch, here he comes. Ball that gets down and low.
You know, you look at that line score: 1-4-4 for Arkadelphia, 4-2-1. So Christian's runs 4 runs on 2 hits. Arkadelphia 1 run on 4 hits, 4 errors, and that's a lot of why you have the 4 runs, errors, and a couple of walks. But not a whole lot of hits for either team today, unless hit batsman counts. The third, I believe, third warrior that's been hit today by Arkadelphia.
Third or fourth. I'm not real sure, but they've got more hit batsmen than they do hits.
That's the fourth, because Now was hit twice. And then they had, I believe it was one of the Bowmans that got nicked on the shin that
like
hit the umpire too. And so now the fourth hit batter now comes up with 1 out and runners on the corners.
Isaac Nowell, he's your center fielder. Runners on the corners. Good pick move there by Cobb. He's not able to get the runner, who was a little lackadaisical there getting off the bag, but he had prowess to see the throw coming. He's leading off a little bit more. We'll see if he takes second. Looked at by Cobb. Here he goes, taking second base. No throw. And so, 1 ball, no strikes. Another runner is 90 feet closer, both in scoring position. With only 1 out, 1-0 count. There's a taken ball that's a little bit low. 2 balls and no strikes now. You know, Cobb's out there with no sleeves on. He's a tough guy. He says, put me in, coach. I can handle it. Here's the 2-0 count. Pitch is popped up on the right side, giving chase his bell. He's under it, and he makes the catch and the on-deck circle for Little Rock Christian. So now 2 outs.
That's a big pitch by Cobb to get out of that one. Nice job by JB. But also Ashton comes and covers the plate. You know, it's just fundamental. We've seen it a few times. There have been some times this year where the Badgers have had some brain cramps, but Ashton coming and covering the mound. And boy, you can see, I'm not sure how. Can't see it very well on your screen because it's the wide shot, but that wind is still whipping out there. Ashton's jersey whipping in the breeze. But nice job by Cobb to get the pop out of the talented Noel.
So now those 2 runners still on at second and third. And big Charlie Carter steps in. He's not been a lot of trouble tonight so far for Arkadelphia, but looks like he could be.
Change with 1 swing of the bat.
Absolutely. Here's the pitch. It's way outside. Bell's able to snag it and keep it from going to the backstop.
Ashton taps his chest at my fault. That saved a run. JB getting outside in that left-handed batter's box to get his glove and keep that one from going to the backstop. Saved a run there.
Most of the time catchers need to slide. There was no way to even slide. That just had to be a reaching snag, and he was able to get it. So credit where credit is due. I'm awful critical of him at times, but that was a pretty good play. 2 balls and no strikes now here to the catcher for Christian, Carter. And we'll see what Cobb does. He comes right in there to him, and he keeps it just missing inside. That was a good-looking pitch. Does not get the call, so now it's 3-0 with first base open and 2 outs. Probably might not be the worst thing to do at 3-0 to put him on base. We'll see what Cobb does here. Certainly not going to groove anything, you wouldn't think. He does hit it to third base. It caroms off of the third baseman. Tate Goodrum goes into short center field. Witten up with it. No advance home from the second base runner. And he does get to third. There is no play at first for Carter. And another run comes across to make it 5-1.
Number 14, Connor Whipple.
And just a bad hop, you know, that very sure-handed Tate Goodrum over there. That ball comes up kind of in between hops and bounces off of him and goes into short center field over there. And just one of those things that ball hit hard by a big, strong kid, and it got the best of Tate.
Yep, courtesy runner for the catcher. Probably going to try to take second base here to put 2 runners in scoring position. Most likely wouldn't be a throw down unless you just want to take the chance that you're going to get an out and give up a run.
Yeah, and the middle infielders aren't even looking towards second base, so most likely they're going to do what they've done most of the year, and that's
most of the time in late inning situations you're going to see that, because if you're able to get the out, you get out of it without giving up a run, you're going to give that base up on indifference.
Most most of the time you're not going to see that throw down there very often in this situation unless you have a very strong catcher with a very strong and accurate arm. And Bell's a good defensive catcher, but not as strong an arm as some may be. Maybe needs another year of seasoning. Not had a lot of starting time. There's a pitch that's fouled off to the right side. So Whipple is behind in the count, 0-1 now. Good start there for Cobb as he gets ahead of a batter and keeps that runner there at first base. Keeps that force on, so anything in the middle would be an easier play. Cobb now with 0-1 comes set. There goes the runner from first. Swung on and hit to short center or short left field. Coming on is DeMauro, and he reaches down at the shoe tops and makes the catch. So good play there. DeMauro got a pretty good jump on a ball that looked like it could be trouble off the bat.
Hey, good job by Cobb. You got the strikeout. You had a ground ball. That's what you want to do. You want to pitch a ground ball. Took a bad hop on Goodrum, gave up 1 run, but still Arkadelphia is able to strand a couple of runners. But the other side of that, they stranded plenty of their own, down 5-1 as we go into the top of the last frame.
3 outs to go here for Arkadelphia, and that would be the ball game. Again, pretty good spot, though, as I believe we're going to have the leadoff, the top of the lineup up. I'm not sure. No, Babb's coming up, so I think Babb will actually be your leadoff hitter this inning, so we'll go 9, 1, and 2 for the Badgers here in the top of the 7th frame, and the final one, unless the Badgers are able to plate 4 and hold serve in the bottom of the inning. O'Dwyer back out for another inning of work. He has pitched a good game so far, not giving up any runs, holding the Badgers to, I believe, 1 hit while he's up. And again, Arkadelphia doubling up Christian in the hit column 4-2, but yet those errors and hit batters, the difference in the game so far.
Yeah, the line score 1-4-5 for Arkadelphia, 1 run on 4 hits with 5 errors, and then 5-2 and 1 for Little Rock Christian. That kind of says the big difference in the game.
1 run not going to win a lot of high school baseball games. We know that. The players know that. The coaches know that. So we're going to see if we can do something about it. Swinging miss at the first strike is Babb. He goes back to work against.
Yeah, I think he was expecting something else and got the fastball right down the middle on the out. Well, I guess probably on the outer half of the plate. And now O'Dwyer's heading the count 0-2. He kind of can do what he wants to here. Babb has to set up outside.
And he does, and he drags one over to the second base side. The second baseman, who ranges to his left, makes a play for the first out of the inning.
Now batting for the Badgers.
One of those things, he got himself in a little bit of a hole and knew he had to protect, and he did that the best he could with the pitch he was given. Couldn't afford to let it come across. It could have been a strike.
Yeah, and then you hit it and you try to make the second base and make a play. You get down the line fast. He got down there got beat by a step.
So now back to the top of the inning. There's a high pitch that's called a strike and not too popular with the leadoff hitter, Pentecost. We'll see what he does from here. He takes one right back up the middle. It's going to hang up and get just enough air under it to where the center fielder can make the play. Isaac Nowell, and so now the Badgers down to their final out.
Now batting third baseman, number 1, Tate Goodrum.
And Goodrum is your hitter. O'Dwyer with the pitch. It's a good pitch on the outside black. It's for strike 1, taken by Tate. Trip Campbell on deck if Tate were to reach. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It is popped up on the right side, short right field. Settling under it is the right fielder to make the play, and that is your ball game. Arkadelphia with 1 run on 4 hits and 5 errors. 5 runs across for the Little Rock Christian Warriors on 2 hits and 1 error. And so Arkadelphia has lost their 3rd in a row this week. They've got 1 more, and it really counts tomorrow night at Fountain Lake.
It does. You don't see that line score very often. 5 runs on 2 hits. You know,
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Little Rock Christian benefited from a couple of errors, a couple of throwing errors, but just offensive, it doesn't matter. You know, you give up those, you give up 5 runs, you've got to be able to score more than one. Wake up the bats and try to see if you can't string some together. Some positives: you did see Donovan Whitten put the bat on the ball 2 solid times with the home run and then a line drive to center field. So you just gotta keep your head down and stay even keeled, not too high, not too low, no matter what happens, and see if you can't try to string some together.
This is a young Badger team. They're going to continue to grow as the season goes along. Tomorrow night, they will be on the road again for a 3rd time this week. Fountain Lake Cobras are the opponents tomorrow night in conference. Again, Fountain Lake does not play at Fountain Lake High School. They play at the other side of the village. You go past the village there, one of the boys and girls clubs. So sharing a field with Jessieville. We'd love to see you there. If not, you can catch the broadcast. We'll be on the air tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock on www.ArkadelphiaBadgerTV.com and your Mascot Media app. Just follow that to Arkadelphia Badgers, and we'll have everything on there for you tonight. It was a cool and windy afternoon. Badgers did not prevail, losing 5-1. We'll be back tomorrow afternoon. So long, and have a good evening.